What is going through your mind as you're attempting to stand?
Honestly, I thought I was going to die. I remember sitting there. I'm like, I can't move, I can't breathe. And then the trainers were asking me, can you feel this? Or can you do this? Can you move this? And I'm just like, I can't breathe. That's all I could get out there at the time. And then my head coach, Greg Schiano, comes out. And he looks down at me. He goes, E, you have to pray. And honestly, when he said that, I'm like, this is it. My life is over. I can't move. I can't breathe. And now my coach is telling me to pray. Of course, I'm praying for a gasp of air. Like anything, please. God, just give me anything. But at that time, I'm sitting there. I'm like, this is it for me. I'm going to die right here in this football field.
Welcome to SBSK. Join me as I travel around the world and interview individuals living with a condition to prove no matter how you communicate or what obstacles you face, you're always deserving of love and acceptance. So without hesitation, let's meet today's friend.
Hi, my name is LeGrand. I'm a former Rutgers football player who faced a spinal cord injury on October 16th of 2010 that left me paralyzed from the neck down. I've overcome a lot of obstacles in my life, faced a lot of adversity, and I'm still living life to the fullest.
What's going through your mind as you see your baby boy lying on that field?
Oh, it was a horrific day. It was. I honestly didn't know. I mean, when I first saw him lying on the field, I knew immediately that something was wrong because of the way he fell.
Well, I was running down our kickoff. We had just tied the game up 17-17 with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and I wanted to make a big play for my team. And I remember when I was about to make this tackle, I had a 30-yard head start at this guy in the open field, and I said, do I want to use my shoulder or do I want to use my head? And everyone knows when you play football, if you're going to tackle with your head, you must keep your head up. But thought I was going to use my shoulder, but my teammate actually tripped the guy up before I got there. And as his body twirled around, it changed the angle of the tackle, and I didn't know that I had put my head down, and the shoulder blade of him went right into the crown of my head, and that's what caused my accident.
I don't think there's anything more frightening than a mother seeing her child like that and being totally helpless. That helpless feeling was the worst feeling that I have ever experienced, because as a mother, in my opinion, it's my job to protect him. It's my job to make sure that he's going to be okay. And when I couldn't do anything, that was one of the hardest things for me to have to deal with, just to watch and not be able to do anything.
So when you think that it might be your time, you might pass away, are you at peace? Are you terrified?
Terrified. I definitely was not at peace. I did at one point try to say, here you go, God, take me at ease. And I did close my eyes and think that was it. I wasn't at peace. I was definitely terrified, but I did at one point close my eyes and say, God, take me. And nothing happened, so I went right back to panicking.
I honestly didn't know how to feel. And when the coach came over to me and he told me to pray, I was even more terrified, that I the worst, I just wanted him to be okay. He wasn't moving, and that's what scared me the most, the fact that he wasn't moving. So I just wanted him to be alive, to be honest with you.
Tell me about the next day.
Well, I could say the next day I don't remember. The last thing I remember is I was in the hospital. I saw a bunch of lights. I remember being in a room with a bunch of doctors, sounded like they were speaking a different language. And then I was in that same room by myself with a bunch of monitors and sounds going off, and I don't remember anything until Wednesday.
Do you remember the first time you smiled after the accident?
When Eric, told me that he'd be back, when he had all those tubes and all those machines and monitors and noises going off, and he couldn't even talk because he had a tube going down his throat. He couldn't even talk, but he mouthed those words to me. I think if it wasn't on the outside, I know it was on the inside, that I smiled and I knew he was fighting and I knew we were all going to fight. That was sort of like a defining moment for us, because if he could, muster up the strength enough to mouth those words to me, we were all going to fight. And I was a little bit relieved. I really was. I mean, even though the circumstances were pretty bad, I was relieved that he hadn't given up, that he was still fighting.
What did you mean when you said to your mom, I'll be back?
I meant that I'll be like this. This is not going to stop me. Whatever is to come, I'm going to come. And I felt like at that time probably that I was going to be back on a football field. Obviously, circumstances dictated that differently. But it kind of made me just gear towards in life now. I'll be back there. I'm not going to let this injury overcome me. I'm still going to do what I want to do. And handle, just maybe do it a little bit differently. But I'm going to live my life, and I'm not going to let this injury hold me back.
It didn't surprise me, him saying that, because Eric's always been a very stubborn. Even as a child, he was very stubborn, and if you told him he couldn't do something, he had to prove you wrong. So for him to say that, it surprised me because the timing of it, because he was so out of it. He was so heavily medicated. He had all these tubes, which was pretty scary. Well, he was scary for me to look at him like that. But for him to be going through it and to still be stubborn and still thinking, this is not going to stop me. He didn't really know what was going on, but whatever it was, he decided he was going to overcome it.
Is it okay if I'm straight to the point?
Absolutely.
So when I walked in, I know that you had that accident. I'm not sure of your physical limitations. So of course I wanted to shake your hand. I wanted to give you a hug. Should I do that?
Absolutely. The biggest thing I try to tell people when they first meet me is, come up to me and put your hand on my hand. Or if you're not sure, just ask. Some people don't ask, or they come to shake, and it's just like, I can't shake your hand. And it's funny because I'm out in public sometimes and people go to shake my hand, and I'm like, I can't shake, and they're like, why not? And I'm like, I physically can't do it. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then I've gotten people where like shake my hand, and I'm like, I can't. They're like, what do you mean you won't shake my hand? Like blah blah blah. And I'm just like, I can't shake your hand, and they get all mad and angry at me. And I'm just like, oh my God.
But the appropriate, what you want is for me to come and just put my hand on yours.
Put your hand on me, or just, if you don't know what to do, ask. Everyone's going to face some type of adversity in life. How you handle it ultimately defines you as a person. You got to look at adversity face on. And, if you have help, take that help. If you need that help, go reach out to somebody. Don't just hold it in and try to do things like, oh, I'm going to hold it back or try to put it to the side. No. Face the adversity, whatever it is. It's just a challenge in your life. And there's a reason why you're going through that challenge. And you can get through that challenge. You just have to have the right mindset, the positive mindset to look what you do have. Don't focus on the things that you don't have. If it's something you want, you work hard to go get it.
Have you noticed a difference in the way people treat you since your accident?
Yes. I've got more stares now out in public. People stare at me, and it doesn't really bother me. But I've gotten people stare at me. I've gotten, whispers when you go by. And like, I wonder what's wrong with that person, this and that. People don't realize that I once was up able-bodied, walking, things like that. So I've gotten, I guess, the discrimination of being, disabled before, but it doesn't really affect me.
I'm probably going to start sweating because I'm having a hot flash, but okay. It's hot in here.
It is hot.
Well, that's him. It's 80 degrees in here. He keeps it at 80 degrees because he can't really regulate, and he's always cold. So this side of the house is freezing. It's hot. My side of the house, the temperature just drops. With
my level of injury, since it's so high up, it messed up my central nervous system and things like that. So the regular things that your body would automatically do when you get hot, you sweat.
Right.
I don't sweat. I parts of my body get damp and moist, but I don't break out into a full-out sweat because my brain is trying to tell my body to, but it can't. When you get cold, you get the goosebumps all over to warm up. When I get cold, I get a bone chill cold, and it takes me hours and hours and hours just to warm up.
What are some obstacles you face or some accommodations you need that people might not even think about?
Just being able to go where I want to go, when I want to go there. Like, I wish I could just get up and get in the car and I say, I want to go have lunch with somebody, and now I have to call somebody, can you pick me up, bring me here, can you do this for me? That's one of the hardest things dealing with is not being able to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, and having to rely on somebody else's schedule as well.
Tell me about some of your capabilities that have improved since that day.
Well, it all started first was I was able to come off that ventilator 5 weeks after my injury, after they told me I would be on it for the rest of my life. I remember doing breathing exercises, putting a balloon on my stomach and just going like, and trying to take a deep breath and hold the balloon out and stuff, and then go, and bring it in and blown into this little breathing machine. And at first I used to go like, 5 weeks later I was breathing on my own. I didn't need a ventilator anymore.
Do you have any movement from the neck down?
Just pretty much my shoulders right here. Just in that I can move forward a little bit with my back, got some back muscles back, but other than that, I'm pretty limited.
What do you love most about your boy?
His passion, his determination, and his belief that he can do anything.
I remember being out there on the football field or waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day, like, why am I doing this? You know, how come this has to be this way, or what's the bigger picture to this thing? And I found my bigger picture. It was setting me up for this, setting me for everything I'm going through now. All those times where we just had a 2.5-hour practice, and now it's 120 degrees on that turf, and Coach Shiano got us running 20 sprints afterwards. And after every sprint, why? Like, why is he doing this? And just having the mental toughness to get back on that line and go again, and go again, and go until it's done. And it's gonna set me up for life too. Now I can't just give up and drop out because it's tough or it's hard physically or mentally. I'm trained and I'm ready to go.
Honestly, one of the things that's so surprising for me is that you still have such a love of the game. Why do you love it?
I was playing football from the time I was 5 years old, and just made me into the man that I am today. There's no animosity towards it. I know it's a dangerous game, and the results that can happen from the game of football. But like I said, all the lessons I've learned playing this game and being around it, and still I get that adrenaline rush. And I wish I was out there. I would say, like, this could have been this year in the NFL for me. And I wish I would know what team I would have been on. So stuff like that, it sticks to me, and I just love being around sports.
He's on that constant grind, as he would say, doing whatever it takes so he can be successful on all levels. And it just makes me happy. It makes me proud because he didn't give up. He's not giving up. And he's doing everything he can to be the best that he can be.
What do you believe is the most important thing for the world to know about your story?
Someone who was dealt the card that they were dealt, but didn't give up, fighting through adversity. And I want to be recognized when I leave this earth as a hero. Someone that fights through it, and I was dealt this, but not giving up, and I'm living my life to the fullest. And I want people to see that and realize, in life, things aren't so bad. Be appreciative for the things that you do have, and just take life in. I have this newfound appreciation on life that, just in general, things don't upset me like they used to.
Why not?
Because it's just all the things that were taken away, I guess, from me, that I don't get to do or can control now. They're just realize the small things in life. They really do matter.
Thanks for watching. If you appreciate what we're doing and want to see SBSK grow, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. This will help us reach even more people and make the world a better place. Thank you.
There's so much similarities of what people go through in this crazy world that we live in that we can all relate to. And just taking a second to have a conversation with somebody, I realize can go a longer way than sitting there looking at somebody or pointing at somebody like, look what they have. No, go over there, have a conversation with them, ask them, how they handle their life, things like that, and see where it takes you. I promise you, it's helped me a lot to be able to have conversations with other people.
Are you always open to conversations from people who are maybe strangers at the time?
Yeah, I get it. All people come up to me all the time, and I get to, talk to random people. The only time I tell people don't talk to me is when I got food in my mouth. Other than that, I'm an open book.